Welcome to this communication recording with me, Terry Elston. It's a very special time. We're going to be having a look at what is communication, what's the philosophy, the very core principles, the map of the world, the territory that's behind being heard and being seen powerfully before somebody even opens their mouth. This recording is very complex in its nature, and my voice can be hypnotic at times, so be very careful. I would suggest not driving and not operating machinery. So let's get into this journey. Let's have a look at a model now, a model of communication. And this is not just a model of communication outwardly, how you do communication, it's how you and I perceive the whole notion of communication. So why is this useful? This is very useful because I'm going to give you some tips and tricks about the outward form of communication, including sensory awareness and rapport and using metaphor and all of those kinds of things. Yet, I think your knowledge of how communication works is just as important as using communication and tips and tricks about how to outwardly communicate. And looking at this model, basically it's telling you how the senses are ordered and how you're making meaning out of the external world. So let's start with that premise. The premise that there is an outside world, which I guess we can all agree on. And that outside world is coming into your system right now. As you're listening to these words are coming in through your ears, I imagine. And what's happening to these words, or any kind of stimulus that's coming through your eyes, ears, nose, you're going to make what we call an internal representation of the world or the stimulus that you see on the outside or sense on the outside. Now, here's the unique part about this, which I'm sure most of you would know already or have some idea of. It's you that's making that internal representation of everything that you can sense on the outside. In other words, you're making it up through your own patterns, your own programming. So what happens then to these pictures and these sounds and these feelings as they come inside you? Well, that becomes a state. So you will actually have a chemical reaction to the external stimuluses on the outside. What you see, what you hear, what you feel, etc. Now obviously that is going to then affect your body. And as that affects your body, you'll react in a certain way to certain stimuluses every single time. And that's called your behavior. And what's linked to your behavior, you might ask? Well, that's called your results. So though we have a neat little tree there of how you make behavior out of external stimulus. So what are some of these filters that your external world has to go through for you to make sense of what you are making up about the outside world? Well, language for one. Language is actually a filter system. Now you think, well, language is language. It describes something exactly. Well, it doesn't. If you are bilingual or trilingual and you start to think and behave in the other language or one of your other languages, you'll find you react differently. The world appears different. Now, if you're not sure about that for yourself, or you're not bilingual or trilingual, ask somebody who is. Ask them if the world is slightly different when they're accessing a different language, and you'll find 9 times out of 10 they'll say yes. Memories. Memories are a huge filter system. Every single one of your memories that you've had since you were born, and that includes at birth and even in the womb. And now if you do believe in past lifetimes, you can go back there as well, or genealogy, like memories coming through the genes. Then your memories are one of the biggest filter systems that you've got. Now that's obviously for a good reason. You need to have memories to know what you like, what you don't like, what to be afraid of, what to love, etc. So memories are sitting there informing you of how to react, which isn't a problem. The only problem occurs is when the memories are not good, they're not complete. They still don't have understanding or learning on them. Decisions that you've made will alter the filter systems. Your personality, whether you're extrovert, introvert. Your values, what you value highly.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?